Spotlight on Kenyan Music program takes us to northern Kenya. Covering a surface area of around 583,000 square kilometers, the north makes up about 40% of Kenya's territory. From forested uplands to arid desert, northern Kenya is a region of varied landscapes. Life is hard in much of the north. Temperatures can be as high as 50 degrees Celsius, and rainfall is extremely scarce and unpredictable. Although farming is practiced in some areas, for centuries people have survived through nomadic pastoralism. For such a large area, the roads are extremely poor, and in the worst conditions, either of climate or terrain, it can take hours to cover relatively short distances by car, or more precisely, only by four-wheel drive vehicle. For this reason, many Kenyans have simply never been to the north and know very little about the region's ethnically diverse peoples, let alone about its music. The Spotlight program sought to respond, if only in part, to this lack of wide exposure to music from northern Kenya. The stated mission to seek, identify and enhance talent, embarked upon in 2005, was pursued with a specific focus on the country's north between 2010 and 2011. And that's how some musicians found themselves very far from home, performing in novel circumstances on the stage of the Alliance Française Gardens in Nairobi. Mohamed Guyo, half Gabra and half Borana from North Hor, was one of the lucky few. He performed twice at the Alliance Française, in December 2010 and in September 2011. Here he is singing a love song in the Borana language. The cattle-keeping Borana are a section of the Oromo-speaking peoples originally from southern Ethiopia who came to the arid areas of the northeast of Kenya to settle around Moyale, Marsabit and beyond. Kibborana was also heard in the lyrics of other Spotlight performers from the north. This is Isaac Haile from Marsabit, performing in October 2010. Also in October 2010 was the group Malaika from the town of Garissa. As they are also singing in Kibborana, an explanation might be in order as to the nature of ethnicity and language in northeastern Kenya.
In northern Kenya, you get a very fluid movement of identities. And also within that, you get two major blocks of identities historically, which was what is called the Gala, or the Boran-speaking group, and the Somali, or what the Borans call Safar speaking group. And whoever fell within this then was either assimilated, adopted, or invited by these communities.
The search for water and pasture is a constant preoccupation for all pastoralist communities. These men are drawing water for their cattle from a so-called singing well. First up from the north in 2011 was the Liban troupe from Isiolo, who performed in the month of July. Also in July that year was Adan Mohamed Tadiko, a conso from Marsabit who nonetheless chose to sing in Kibborana about his love of the town of Moyale, and with good reason. In August, Bonaya Doti, also a conso and also from Marsabit, in one of his songs offered a prayer to the Almighty. The group Ada Oromo from Moyale performed in September. And finally, on the Kibborana singing roll call was the highly popular Salat Sikulangi band, based in Nairobi, who performed in October. With this spirited medley, they proved that folk in the big city haven't abandoned their roots. Some in the audience could be heard singing along in delight as they were reminded of golden oldies.
Later in my life, I grew up in Wajir, and I still have that picture of one of the great musicians, Malfado, who was an Ajuran musician, a short guy, bald-headed, who was excellent with the guitar. He could play the guitar on his shoulders, literally. But also, we had fantastic festivals here in Nairobi. We had the Eid festival, where Abdullah Jirma, who was one of the contemporaries of my uncle, would come and reveal his new music. So we'll be tagged along by our parents and our relatives to go and listen to this during that Eid fiesta. And so on and so forth. There was Mude, whose guitar, whenever you had that guitar, will take you all the way back to Marsabit, the hills of Marsabit, and so on and so forth.
Apart from cattle, some pastoralist groups in northern Kenya rear camels in large numbers. This one-humped species, the dromedary or Arabian camel, can routinely go for 8 to 10 days without water. Livestock herds are often supplemented by goats and by sheep, which are highly valued for sacred ceremonies. Of the linguistic minorities in northern Kenya are the Munyoyaya, who prove an exception to the general rule by being mainly agriculturalists. The group Munyoyaya was seen at a concert in September 2010. In this traditional Kimunyo song, they list the charms of a young suitor. Dofa, a Burji from Marsabit, performed in Nairobi in October 2010. The Burji, who settled in Kenya from southern Ethiopia in the early 1900s, are also farmers. Abdijero from Marsabit, half Rendile and half Burji, sang in Kiburji at a spotlight concert in August 2011. The Somali, like the Boran, are Cushitic people, but unlike the Boran, largely keep camels rather than cattle. On the African continent, there are also many Somalis in Greater Somalia, in eastern Ethiopia, and in Djibouti. Their language, Kisomali, is also very widely spoken by non-Somalis, and their poetic music is well famed.
I grew up in northeastern Kenya, in a place called El-Wak. I would say, both in my own life as well as the lives of many people from my community, music has and will continue to play a very important role.
It was upwards all the way for the all-Somali, all-women group Gargar, following their discovery through the Spotlight program. Amongst several trips outside Kenya, Gargar performed in February 2011 at the prestigious Sauti za Busara Festival in Zanzibar. Later in 2011, Gargar also featured locally at the Lamu Cultural Festival, where their fans registered their pleasure, as is the custom, by sticking banknotes onto them.
What I think we need to see more of in this society, such as the Somali community and other nomadic communities that have traditionally made women to be more on the backseat, is to provide some form of support and encouragement to actually participate in music.
The dominant geographical feature inland in the northwest of Kenya is undoubtedly Lake Turkana. At about 6,500 square kilometers, the alkaline Lake Turkana is the largest desert lake in the world. Having traveled through long stretches of desert and volcanic lava, this vast body of water comes out of nowhere as a spellbinding vision. The small town of Loyangalani on the southeastern tip of the lake was the scene of more spotlight discoveries during the 4th Lake Turkana Festival in May 2011. 6 ethnic groups showcased their music during that festival: the Gabra, the Dasanash, the Rendile, the Samburu, the El Molo, and the Turkana. The Gabra, camel-keeping pastoralists who speak Kibborana, but who have a very distinct culture of their own, live to the east of Lake Turkana, in an area which includes the Chalbi Desert. The rhythm is often accentuated by the pounding of feet on a stiff, dry cowhide. About 10,000 Dasanash live in very harsh conditions to the extreme north of Lake Turkana. In Ethiopia, the Dasanash are known as the Merile.
My mother tongue is Kamba, married by a Dasanach man. We live in Ilaret, north part of Lake Turkana. Gudona mojeng anama yegidie, Gudona mojeng anama yegidie. Oto birgeye, mweya mukevya, marga gogo ya galchacha wagwo, ya maloman, ayu mushigya ayu aunakasikot.
As with other performers, once the Dasanash group Gal Lokwaria found themselves in Nairobi, it was rehearsal first before actual performance.
This song is composed to warn young men not to get in friendship with old women.
Their dress code makes this group of singers and dancers recognizable as being Rendile. The camel-keeping Rendile come from the central north of Kenya.
I speak Rendile. Because it's a small community, there is a danger that the Rendile language is slowly disappearing. The role of music among the Rendile is that it's a very important part of their social life. The songs are in two parts: the serious songs that actually mark the key and significant stages of their life, and also the songs that are just danced to and sung just to feel good.
The Samburu, mainly cattle keepers, live to the south of the Rendile. As Ma speakers, the Samburu are linguistic and cultural cousins of the Maasai.
Samburu culture is resilient. That the Samburu man today, the Samburu girl today still wears the beads, still wears his shuka. It's been resilient. It will be resilient. The attacks, I think, are more ferocious right now than before. Because with schools and modernity encroaching at a faster pace than in the last 20 years, then the decline will be faster. But certainly, I doubt myself that, say in 50 years, Samburu culture will be completely finished. I don't think so. Even as we become more modern, the music of Samburu stays on. And even those like my brother who sing gospel music, they sing gospel music with a complete Samburu touch that is quite unique and different from anybody else. So in spite of the ferocious attack by modernity, Samburu music stays on and lives on.
The El Molo live on the southeastern tip of Lake Turkana, with Loyangalani as their main centre. There are only about 1,000 pure El Molo. With intermarriage with the more numerous Samburu and Turkana becoming very common, the threat of their extinction is real. However, these youngsters singing an El Molo nursery rhyme are sure to retain some attachment to their language and tradition.
In El Molo language, when we greet, we say anate, then we respond anangi. And in Turkana, it's a joke,